Let's take a break for 10 minutes.
I'm kind of busy, Google. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy, I'm a little congested today. But I wanted to sit down. I feel like I say that every time. I wanted to sit down and talk. Do that every week, but yes. For this week I wanted to sit and talk about my digital graphic class that I took. I've brought it up a couple of times, and I realized I've never actually sat down and told you guys some stories from that time. Like I said, I'm a little congested, not doing the best, so I figured this was a little bit of a simpler idea. So, for those who don't know, I took a digital graphics class my last 2 years of high school. And I absolutely loved it. For a multitude of reasons. Finn's with me on the bed, so if you hear some movement, it's him. Silly baby. Yes, so I took a digital graphics class. And I had an absolute blast. We spent a lot of time doing photography, we learned Photoshop, we learned how to use Adobe Illustrator, and yeah, I loved it. And the reason I'm very good at telling these stories is actually because we had a lot of tours come to our class for tours. That's why you go to a tour, to have a tour. But basically, my class was a technical center class. Meaning that you can gain technical skills and go directly into a field, and it's not just blah. It's not just digital graphics, it's I forgot every class. There's automotives, nursing, restaurant management and cooking and stuff. So, things that you don't need a college degree for technically, and you can start learning skills while in high school. Yeah. So, because this wasn't a traditional high school class, a lot of students would come through and get a tour of not just our class, but other classes, other classes the tech center had. So, when they would come in, I was the one tasked to do the tours, and I always loved them. I remember one time this group of 6th graders came to have a tour, and they were absolutely adorable. They of course weren't in high school yet, they were a part of the middle school, and the tech center was starting to do more things with our middle school. And so they wanted to send a bunch of the kids to the tech center to kind of get a tour and kind of learn what everything was. And they were in absolute awe. I showed them a professional camera. When I did these tours, I would usually, if I had heads up, I didn't always have a heads up, I would ask some people in the class who were working on stuff to be like, oh, you just did this Photoshop thing, can you show that off when the kids come? Or you just did this really cool paper, can you do that? Can you show that? So I was able to do that for these kids, and they got to show off some of the coolest stuff that we had made that year. And at the time, we were in the middle of prepping vinyl to wrap a race car. Another fun thing we got to do. And so the kids were like, oh my god! Not to be biased, but I think they were my favorite tour. But yeah. Because I did these tours so much, I actually got an opportunity to tour around the entire tech center for our school. So, to be in the tech center, you have to send in an application, and it's only really available for juniors and seniors. Sometimes a sophomore can come in, but that's usually only if there's an extra opening will they let them come in. So, a bunch of sophomores were super interested in the tech center, and we wanted to give them a good proper tour to see every class that they could and meet all the teachers, and so they asked me to do it. And I said yes. It's actually really funny because apparently my teacher didn't know that I had been asked, and he came up to me and was like, oh, by the way, they need students to do it, so I'm gonna volunteer you. He's like, oh, I'm already doing it. It's like, what? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, who's gonna tour the room? It's like, I'll tour the room when I come in. It's like, no. But yeah, I got to do that, and it was so much fun. And at the end, the students got little comment cards to write stuff out, because this is the first time that they did this, so they wanted some feedback on things they could improve on and stuff. And my group actually gave the advice of talking more about the tech center itself. Now, I knew a lot about some of the behind the scenes with the tech center, things that you only get to really learn when you are in the class. For example, they have connections to pretty much every community college in the state. So, you can actually apply and ask to take a college level course for free. Like, the tech center will pay for it. And not like things for your class, just like a basic English, because you have to take an English class for college, or like a math or a science or something to get out of the way, and you can pay for it. And like, they have a clothing closet full of coats and stuff, and a food pantry that the culinary arts students had just started participating in, leaving bigger meals for students to just come and have. So my group gave the suggestion because I was talking about it, and that just felt really cool to know that I had this cool inside knowledge that was so appealing to them. One of the most fun things, and the thing that I'll probably spend the most of this video talking about, is a competition that we got to be a part of. It's called Skills USA, where you get to compete amongst others in different technical skill trades. So like, there are ones for automotive, there are ones for culinary arts. I think there's like a cake baking one or things like that. For my class, we did projects that were for a grade, but those projects were also what can be used for the competition. So we kind of did both. And we competed in 3 categories: t-shirt design, pin design, and photography. My first year, I actually got first in regionals. I think it was regional. Yeah, regionals in photography, so I was able to go to states. But I didn't do so well in states, but I had a fun time. Not an absolutely fun time, because I was still eating wheat at this point, so I was pretty sick. But I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. One of the other students who competed in one of the other categories got to go as well, and she did super well. I think she got pretty high. I don't remember what she got. But my second year, my senior year, I actually got first in t-shirt design, and I was prepping to go to states again. However, because of COVID, we decided not to do it. So I don't know how I would have done with my t-shirt. I think I would have done well. It was really fun design. If I can find it, I will put it in this video. But it was, you had to make it based on your state. So mine said Maine, but it was like the outline of the letters, and in the outlines were like different scenes. So it was like a hiking trail, a lake, a lighthouse, some food, and some others I can't think of right now. But I really loved the design. I was pretty close to finishing it, but unfortunately COVID happened, so I wasn't able to complete it. I really hope I still have it. I'll see. Yeah, one of the main reasons I absolutely loved this class wasn't necessarily anything I learned in it. It was because of the way that it was structured.
It's 3 p.m. It's time to stand up and stretch. Let's take a break for 10 minutes.
I'm kind of busy, Google. Alright, we're gonna take a break in a minute. But the way my school worked is you only had 4 classes, but you had it alternating. So you had 4 classes, the same 4 classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then 4 different classes, Tuesday, Thursday, and then it would repeat. So you basically had a day 1 and a day 2. So it would be day 1 Monday, day 2 Tuesday, day 1 Wednesday, day 2, day 1, and then the next week would be day 2, day 1, day 2, day 1. I think I explained that right. I'll fix it later if I didn't, I apologize. But this one digital graphics class took up 3 slots. So I didn't have to leave a classroom for hours. My junior year I had a math class afterwards, so I literally stayed in one place, went to the other side of the school for math, and left. So that was a lot easier for me mentally to be able to just kind of sit, especially in my senior year because I had a study hall at the end of the day, and when you're a senior at my school, that meant that if you had good enough grades, you could leave early. And so I literally would go to this one class and then leave, however many hours later. This was really helpful for me, especially when I started having more tests, like my first colonoscopy, and just a lot of blood tests and a lot of stressful doctor's appointments, because I could just sit and just work on a computer and not have to be up and down every however many hours. You know, I could just sit and just be. And I really appreciated those days because I really needed them. So yeah, those are the stories from my digital graphic days that I wanted to tell. I have plenty more, but I think those should be shared at a later date. I'm still pretty stuffy, so I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I will see you next week for a new video. Bye!